Hey everybody, it's Matt from You and Your Horror Movies, and welcome to day 18 of my 31 Days of Horror. I hope you've all been enjoying my reviews. Sorry I haven't got a chance to reply to a lot of them. Again, been very busy, popping these out. I'll get to them, but it's going to take time. But anyway, without further ado, for day 18, we're talking about a film from 2020, and it's put out by Uncorked Entertainment. Now, with Uncorked, they're kind of like Wild Eye a little bit, where they're hit or miss with their films and whatnot, so you never know what you're going to get. But this one actually wasn't bad, and the movie I'm talking about is called Blackstock Boneyard. Now, Blackstock Boneyard, it's pretty much based on a true story about these two brothers back in 1913. They owned land, so they were kind of like rich because they owned this big land. Well, they decide the sheriff, the judge, the district attorney, and this woman named Anna Davis. They all decided to get together to frame the two brothers by killing this Civil War vet, supposedly saying that she was raped and they stole money from this guy. So they're in court. And of course, it doesn't go the right way. And the two brothers are sent to the electric chair, where they are electrocuted to death, pretty much. And so now that happens. 100 years later now, we're back into the normal time, and the descendants of the judge and the district attorney are getting together to sell this land. The land has been worth a ton of money, so therefore they got to figure out how to sell it, and they're going to make millions. Well, they come to find out there is actually a descendant of Anna Davis, so they have to split it three ways. So they contact this random woman who happens to be the descendant, a blood descendant, and pretty much they invite her down to the South, and the South's pretty bad, and they figure out how to con her to sell the land. Well, of course, she agrees, and in the same time, when this all happens, this causes the two brothers, I think they were called, the Griffin brothers, to rise from the grave. And pretty much now they are out to stop and get revenge on the descendants of those who wrongfully murdered them back then. And of course, like the sheriff, who was a pretty bad sheriff, he's actually a descendant of the electrocutioner. So that actually pays part in this movie. So pretty much the brothers now rise, and of course you have a lot of racism going on in the South. There's two guys who are hardworking gentlemen, and of course they're black, and one guy gets beat up from these racist guys, and one of the two Griffin brothers show up and kill the racist guys, and one of the guys is actually a descendant of the Griffin brothers. So there's a whole lot of descendants on this. So the bloodline is actually going pretty strong in all these movies. I mean, in this movie. So pretty much now you have yourself a supernatural slasher, where they're in the courthouse and bodies are starting to pile up, and they come to find out there's these two supernatural dudes who are in like old jail attire, and they have the knapsack over their head, which is pretty cool looking, because one is actually like infused in the guy's face. It looks like a skull, and the other one is kind of half torn, so you can see like bone structure and blood. So they look kind of demonic, which is kind of neat. They're both armed with like giant sickles, chains, whips, and everything, and they start killing people left and right in this movie. So of course now the main descendant there of Anna Davis has to figure out, well, you know what, my ancestor did wrong, I need to do something right and end this. So that's pretty much the gist of this movie. Okay, my thoughts on this. The killers looked pretty cool. I like the way they looked. They're pretty big, bulky, and the weapons are neat. Some of the kills are okay. There's a couple lackluster kills, like one's an accidental kill. One decides, she's so stupid she kills herself. It's because, she lost her sister. She knows she's going to die, so she said, screw it. Like, what? Okay. A couple other kills were okay. There was actually a couple that were actually pretty neat. Other than that, the storyline was okay. I liked the gist of, taking place in the South, and these descendants are back together, which I think is the catalyst of the three together causing these creatures, these Griffin boys to rise from the grave. And then they can now finally get their revenge and get their justice, because they were wrongfully accused and everything. So you get back and forth in the past a little bit on that, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, let's say that's based on the true story. I think it's just based on, they just took a supernatural twist to it. It is about the two Griffin boys who were screwed out of their land and everything, and that's it. Well, they pretty much, added that supernatural twist of them coming back from the grave. So yeah, that's pretty much the idea of that. Other than that, this movie actually, I was entertained. I wasn't really bored. There was a couple scenes that are kind of like, eh. But again, you're in the down south. There's a lot of racist thing going on in this movie, but they get their desserts on that. So yeah, for special features, you have bonus behind the scenes featurette, and you get some trailers. So other than that, I definitely, if you're into supernatural slashers, I recommend checking out Blackstock Boneyard. This was kind of like I was just browsing through Amazon one day and this popped up. I'm like, all right. I bought it last month. So this was my last month's update. Figured, let's give it a watch and see how this one goes. So I wasn't disappointed. So I definitely recommend, guys, checking out Blackstock Boneyard. There is some kind of really green screen kills, and you can tell it was done with green screen. Some of the blood was a little CGI'd, which is kind of like, eh. But the rest of it, the blood splatters and whatnot, so that was pretty neat. So yeah, guys, check out Blackstock Boneyard from 2020. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for more horror. Later, guys. Peace.